And we are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. I'm fired up to talk to you guys about life today. And the question is, should I be shallow or deep? Okay. So, as I stated before, this channel is gonna continue. I'm gonna have at least one video per week that's probably edited and made better for you guys and for new people that are coming on board. But for now, as soon as I finish this live stream and as it's uploaded, I'm gonna send this video up to Patreon, patreon.com/menofhighvalue. If you wanna support me there and be a Patreon and see all of my newer videos as they come up, then become part of it there. So, shallow or deep? What do you say? Comment down below, what do you think that this video is gonna be about? Realize that life is simply a bunch of seconds. Okay? You've got this second, and then you've got the next, and then you've got the next, and then you've got the next. Each single second, our brain is operating, and it's thinking, and it's feeling something, and it's sending down messages to our body so that we have emotions, okay? And those emotions basically decide whether we are happy, sad, depressed, excited, fired up, etc., etc. Okay? Do you know how many years 1 billion seconds is? I'll save you the trouble. It's 32 years. So if you become 96 years old, you've basically lived 3 billion seconds. It's insane. It's a lot, but it's actually also very short when you think about it. If you've got those 3 billion seconds, that's deep. That's length, right? Depth, length is going to be interchangeable in this video. While short term or shallow, or this is basically the second, this moment right here, the now. Which one's more important? The now, right now, or the future now? Because that's all you'll ever have. In the future, you know, you're building up, let's say you're building up a business, and you're building and building and building, and hopefully in the future you're gonna be happy. No, we gotta be happy now in order for us to get the picture of happiness in the future. What we're striving to do, however, is to exponentially increase the joy and happiness that we have over time. Because right now, you're not gonna get it right. Right now, everything is pretty much gonna suck. And we have to be okay with that and realize the short term, it's okay for it to be a bit bad. As long as we're progressing on our journey towards the long term now. Because you've got the now, but in the future, you've got now, tons of nows coming along. And I'm just repeating this to you so that you realize that in the future, let's say 10 years from now, there's going to be a now. How fired up and excited are you about that specific now? I think you're beginning to get my point here that shallow and depth, short term and long term, temporal and spiritual, okay, they're basically equally important. And I'm gonna explain in this video why and how through different categories of life. Let's see, for example, since the long term is made up of a bunch of nows, okay, you have specific events or things that happen or emotions that you feel in the short term. What's important, however, is to keep having those emotions or keep doing the action consistently over time. Okay, so let me give you an example by using the body. We know that we have good shallow and we have bad shallow. Good shallow would be doing the important things in the now so that our future selves are going to thank our past selves for having taken responsibility and done something good in the short term now. Does that make sense? So let's say, for example, the shallow good would be to eat healthily. as healthy as possible. You can't get it right away, right? It's a progressionary thing. It's not going to be perfect. And if you think it's going to be perfect, you're going to mess it up. And you're going to get depressed, and then you're going to stop doing the thing that you're supposed to do, right? So we've got to understand that everything's not going to be perfect. That would be a shallow good. Another shallow good would be to exercise at least 15 to 30 minutes every single day. That's a shallow good, okay? Those things will improve your now exponentially over time. If you make that a habit to eat healthily, to exercise on a daily basis, doing some form of interval exercises that get your heart rate pumping and your sweat to drain from you, okay, that's going to have a massive, huge impact in your life satisfaction over time. It's the same thing with sleep. If you're working during the night, you should get yourself another job because sleep is crucial. And if you don't take care of your sleep, right, that's going to be a shallow bad. Just the same as you drinking alcohol every single weekend, exponentially, that's a shallow bad, right? So what's going to happen? Every single thing that you do has an exponential growth curve or decline curve attached to it. Which means that if you make the thing that you're doing right now in the shallow, in the short term, in the now, and it's a bad thing for you, then you and your body is going to exponentially decline over time. You're going to have less life satisfaction, you're going to have more depression, more sadness, more grief, and you're going to do stupid stuff that's going to make things even worse in your life. Does that make sense? So you're making the shallow bad become an exponential decline curve that becomes a long-term bad, right? But then shallow good, meaning doing something correctly, meaning actually doing that which works in the short term, is going to give you an exponential growth curve in terms of your body. Now, using that as the first example. Do you understand what I'm saying here? I'm helping you to see that every single thing that you do in the short term matters. And it matters a lot. Okay? Because if you don't start doing the right things today, you're basically going backwards. You're going towards an exponential decline because you're actually choosing the shallow bad, right? If you just keep eating grossly, you're going to have an exponential decline over time. You've got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of your body. That was example number one. Let's say example number two. In terms of family and friends, the shallow good, right, would be to learn people skills. Okay, once and for all. Read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, okay, by Dale Carnegie. Absolutely fantastic book. It's a classic that everyone has to read, and you have to read it 15 times, 20 times, 50 times until you've got the principles down. And if you've got those principles down, you can now be a leader in every single situation that you're in. And the shallow good will be to lift people up in the moment. Whenever you have an opportunity, you just lift people up, man. Because if you do that on a consistent, continual basis, what's going to happen? You're going to have people around you liking you. And if they like you and they want to be around you, they're going to talk positively about you to other people. Your reputation is actually important. Believe it or not. Now, it's most important what the people that you care about think, okay? But, you know, and there's a lot of people that we shouldn't care about what they think. However, you can always be nice to people. Like, that's just a given. That's a shallow good, right? What happens exponentially over time if you do that consistently and it's a habit? You do it without thinking and you're always having a smile on. There's nothing wrong with having a smile on your face, man. I know when you're masculine, you know, you're usually a bit more serious and all that stuff. Okay, great. But you can always have a small, you know, like smile on your face and be fired up. Because that's part of being high value as well. Just being moping around and being all serious, whatever. Like, yeah, that's gonna be fine, and girls are gonna look at you and like, oh wow, he's high value because he doesn't look at me as someone who, who thinks I'm special. Very often guys who are noobs at the girl game, they're like puppies when they see girls. And those girls know that guy is low value when they do that. So girls very often like the guy that's a bit more serious. But I'm just telling you that you're not there. Like, that's not what we're talking about on this channel yet. What I'm trying to give you is life satisfaction, a quality of life, and getting you to the point where you understand yourself and you understand your emotions and you understand other people around you. Most people, including girls, very often in the beginning when you meet them, will want you to smile and actually be polite and be nice, okay? In terms of, it's a whole different ball game when it comes to girls, man. We're not even talking about, I'm not gonna even bring it up right now. I'm just explaining to you right now in terms of short-term good, okay? Be nice to people, be respectful, be proper. Because if you do that exponentially over time, people are gonna trust you, they're gonna like you, and they're gonna talk positively about you, and that's gonna only help your career because it's a habit that you do. Shallow bad in that term is basically alienating people and hating on them, criticizing them, and basically, criticizing them all the time. That causes them to be like, man, why is he like that? And then basically they start hating on you and they start talking negatively about you to other people. And that has ring effects, right? Okay, and it continues exponentially. So you see the shallow good there will create an exponential growth curve, and the shallow bad will create an exponential decline curve in terms of your relationships. And we know on this channel, on the Men of High Value channel, that relationships, that's what it's all about, okay? If you have fantastic relationships and there's depth, there's shallow transactions done consistently over a long period of time with the same people. If you do that, you're going to have depth. And when you have depth, you're able to talk to these people like you can talk to them about anything. And you know that they're not going to, tear you down or be like, what are you talking about, man? It's like they're going to be there for you. Do you understand what I mean? Like, it's the shallow good. And then you got shallow bad. And that basically creates distrust, etc., etc. Okay, how does it work in terms of money? Okay, shallow good in terms of money would be to take half of your paycheck, your after-tax paycheck, and put it away in order for you to start preparing for launching your business or to basically invest in the things that you believe in. Because if you do that, right, you're going to have exponential growth curve in your financials. It's impossible for you to not get an exponential growth curve if you set aside half of your money every single time you get your paycheck and you pay yourself first. Because if you do that, the exponential growth curve has to happen. It's impossible for it to decline, unless you're investing in stupid stuff. Only invest in stuff that you know a lot about. Okay, if I could just say that, or invest in yourself, in your own education in terms of courses or in terms of following a mentor or a coach, for example, because if you do that, you're gonna get an exponential growth curve. What is the shallow bad when it comes to money? Shallow bad would be to not do that, okay? And basically spend all of the money that you have every single month so you don't have any money left over, or spending even more than you have, or even worse, getting credit card loans or consumer loans, or whatever hell the people are doing these days, okay? That would be a shallow bad that creates an exponential decline curve and puts you in a future emergency with the critical time frame that puts you in depression and issues and all that crap. Do you understand what I mean? You want to prepare yourself by doing the shallow good. You see, I'm not saying that shallow is more important than long term, because the long term has a lot more seconds to it, right? Because the shallow is just 1 second. It's just like making a good decision right now. But the long term is like 3 billion seconds in the future. But if you set everything up right in the short term now, you're taking care of the long term. That's what's so insane about it. You're basically pushing up the exponential growth curve to right now. Instead of waiting for 20 or 30 or 40 years to get the exponential growth curve, why not have it the next 3 or 5 years? Do you understand what I mean? In terms of, man, I got some good stuff here today. Let's see. I had another one. Okay. Success. In terms of business, what would be a shallow good thing to do? The most important thing I teach my clients, there's one thing, one action. My clients will tell you right now what that is, okay? Because they know the most important thing that I teach you as a client is to do reach outs. This one activity alone is going to make you rich. This one activity alone is going to make you rich. It is basically reaching out to a certain number of people. The more right that person is, like in terms of what you're trying to achieve, the more right, the more in line, the more decision maker person, that you are connecting to or reaching out to, the better. If you manage to just simply do 10, 20, 30, 50, or 100 reach outs every single day to people to find out how you can serve them, how you can create a win-win situation, etc., 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 that's the number one thing that's going to make you rich. That's a shallow thing to do, to reach out to 10 people a day. It's shallow because it's worthless. It's like these 10 people that I call, they're all going to reject me, so it's not going to work, basically. And it sucks, and I suck at the phone, or I suck sending emails, or I suck doing this, that, and the other, sending direct messages, whatever it is. Of course you're going to suck. But if you've done 10, 20, 50 reach outs every single day, and continuously improve who you're reaching out to, over time, exponential growth is going to happen in your business. It's impossible for you not to get exponential growth if you keep doing the shallow good. And then you'll have the long-term exponential growth good. Does that make sense? The shallow bad, for example, would be to basically not do that, right? What else did I do? What else did I write? Oh, some good shallow good. Yes, also learning daily from this channel. Man, that's a daily good. Shallow bad, okay, in terms of success would be to, for example, playing the lottery, right? That's a shallow bad because you're literally putting money into something that's designed for you to lose, which makes you an automatic loser. Oh yeah, but some people win. Yes, but it's not you. Okay? So that's something that is shallow bad, and that's going to give you an exponential decline curve over time. Successful people don't use the lottery. They know that they are the lottery in their own lives. They invest in themselves because they know that if they invest in themselves, they have 100% chance of success if they simply keep doing it and keep working towards what they're trying to do. But trying to win the lottery, oh my gosh, like that's insane. That's basically the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different results. Don't do that. Never ever do that, actually. Oh, whatever else. Oh, you're not going to become successful if you do this. If you do the shallow bad of screwing people over, of being dishonest, of not having integrity, of basically taking shortcuts and screwing people over, that's going to exponentially decline your business and your future, because it's going to come back to haunt you and bite you in the ass later. Okay? So if we know this, you understand these principles. They're very simple to understand, actually. And if you simply do them and you recognize that shallow is crucial, it's important, because this is what determines the habits that you put into your life, that determines the exponential growth curve or decline curve. What else did I write? Okay. Education. Shallow good would be to continuously learn on a daily basis in terms of the niche that you want to move towards, right? Learning from this channel, learning from mentors, learning from your parents, learning from people who have the lifestyle that you desire. That's the most important one. That would be shallow good. always keep learning, because this life is about education. And you want to figure out the truth, that which works in the long run in the big scheme of things. Shallow bad in terms of education would be to finish your freaking education. That's shallow bad. That's you basically going to someone who does not have the lifestyle that you desire and keep listening to them, and then they tell you to do homework, and then you basically do it, and then you're screwed over. Like, you're wasting time. You're going towards an exponential decline curve the longer you are in school. You hear what I'm saying? The longer you are in school, the faster your exponential decline curve is going to happen. And now I'm talking only to people who have the ambitions of being an entrepreneur and a business owner. If you are a guy who wants to work for the rest of your life in a job, 9 to 5, whatever it is in your little cubicle, then this channel is not for you. I'm taking every principle to the extreme. I want you to become successful. I want you to think huge, to think big. Then it's useless for you to be at school, any school. Okay? College, high school, middle school, all of it. It's crap. It's horrific. And I wish you could understand what I see when I'm talking about school. Gary Vee, I listened to one of his videos the other day where he was saying, you know, I watched a guy that was asking, you, man, should I quit school, man? I'm 17 years old and I hate school and I love entrepreneurship and I'm already making good money and I'm like, I don't need this education. And then Gary Vee's like, no, man, that's a really tough decision to make, man, because, you know, you won't be able to get a job after. And I'm like, Gary Vee, what are you talking about? You're like teaching everyone about entrepreneurship. And now you're like suddenly backtracking, saying that, oh, it's a big decision to quit school because, hey, you know, you need to have the, you know, a job in the future maybe because no one's going to hire. Who cares if people are going to hire you or not? If you are thinking like an entrepreneur, right, you're going to get a job. It's impossible for you not to get a job if you seek for it long enough. And then on the side, you'll build your business, which will create, cash flow over time so that you can quit your job, so that you'll never have a job for the rest of your life. The only problem is that you're underage if you're below 18. That's fine, okay? You can't just quit school. You need to have your parents agree that that's what you're gonna do, but you simply tell them, I'm finishing school, no problem, it's gonna be easy. Actually, I'm gonna finish at the top of my class if you guys allow me to be homeschooled. And I promise I'm gonna put in the effort. And if I don't, you can put me right back to school next year or within 6 months. It doesn't matter. I'll go back to school if you guys feel that I'm not, picking up the slack. But if you got that mentality, man, as a 12-year-old, as a 15-year-old, as a whatever year old, and you understand that about education, that you're doing the shallow bad, it's going to give you an exponential decline curve. Let me tell you about high income earners. Real brief detour right now. The high income earners who get a college degree, the doctors, the lawyers, all the fancy titles, status people, okay? They're great people, okay? I have nothing against them. I'm just telling you right now that it's a very bad strategy that they're employing if they want a great lifestyle. And that's what it's all about. Life satisfaction, quality of life, setting up your life and your family the way you want it. You understand that these people, they're paid so much money and it's not that much, okay? In their brains, it's a lot. It's like, oh man, I make $100,000 a year. I make $200,000 a year. It's peanuts, okay? Compared to what you could get if you are an entrepreneur business owner and you build multiple businesses over time. Seriously, it really is. What happens to those doctors and lawyers and those with fancy titles and high incomes? They get stuck there. Why? Why do they get stuck there? Because they now have increased their lifestyle to match their colleagues and their peers. Because if you don't match your colleagues and peers, and most people spend all of the money that they get, right? Maybe they save a little bit, but no one talks about, what people do behind closed doors in terms of their money, right? Because that would be disrespectful and rude. But most people, you'll find out if you do your studies on it, that most people actually live in debt, even though they have freaking high incomes. And they're keeping up with the Joneses. Now, if you're keeping up with the Joneses as a lawyer or a doctor or whatever it is else that your fancy title, is doing for you, guess how likely it is that you are willing to start a business on the side with whatever time you have. I don't know where you're going to find the time if you've got one of those high-flying jobs, because the higher you're paid, the more you're paid, the more your employer is going to suck the life out of you. Which means that you're not going to have any time. You're not going to have any drive. You're not going to have the ability to get out of that ditch that you've basically built for yourself. Because you have such a fancy lifestyle. And if you quit your job, man, suddenly we're going to be broke. And I can't do that. And so basically they get stuck there until they die. Which is basically, 67 years old and they die 5 years later. Because when you retire, you die. And they're sick and tired of working. So anyway, that was a long detour, but I'm just trying to help you guys understand the long-term picture. Shallow bad is getting an education, formal education. Shallow good would be to get your mindset right, get your attitude right, read the right books, get a coach, get someone that you're learning from who has the success or the mental attitude that you desire in your life. And if you do that, you're going to have an exponential growth curve. Man, I'm passionate about this stuff, man. I love this stuff. Okay, let's see. I think one of the last ones. Okay, the last one. And this is a reminder for me, okay? Clothes, your appearance, shallow or depth? Okay, I've been struggling with this probably my whole entire adult life. Ever since I stopped wearing my white shirt and tie in basically 13 years ago. I was looking fly until I was 21. And then I was just like, I hate buying clothes. I hate it. Like, I literally hate it. It's disgusting for me. And I also don't like it when other people buy me clothes. So I end up not buying much clothes. Like, you see me wearing these black shirts. Like, I literally bought 20 of them, and they're all identical. And because it's just like, kind of like Mark Zuckerberg. He wears the same flippin' white shirt all of the time. Do you understand what I mean? It's because it's less to think about. And it's like, but, shallow, long term. Shallow good would be to have a nice, respectable, homely appearance that's respectable, so that people, when they see you, they're like, man, whoa, this guy's for real. This guy's serious. This guy's going somewhere. I don't have that because I've not prioritized it as much. Do you understand what I mean? So when I go out and about, I don't get that whoa aspect. So this is a reminder for me. Sometimes I make these videos to remind me of that crap. But it's true. Because if you do that, if you look good, and I'm not saying that you should splurge. That would be a very bad idea, right? Shallow bad in terms of appearance would be to spend all of your time, all of your money, all of the thing to just look good, and you forget about the long-term perspective. Shallow good is to make sure you look good. Maybe get one suit, right? One really good, nice suit that you feel good in, right? That gets your mentality right. Maybe get some things that you can wear over and over again, and just make sure you wash it, blah, 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 and make sure everything's good and nice, right? That's going to give you an exponential growth curve over time because of your reputation, because people look at you and like, this guy's serious, this guy's amazing, right? This goes for my YouTube channel as well, right, guys? Everyone's complaining about my lighting, my microphone, or the lack of microphone, all of the crap that I have on my YouTube channel, and I know, right? In order for me to grow in the long term, there's tons of people that are suffering from not having heard my message, right? And I haven't cared much about it, and maybe I won't care that much about it because I've got a lot of other priorities. but I'm just explaining to you guys why my channel hasn't grown as fast as it could have, because I'm not taking care of the shallow. So what can you learn from this? Time will either promote you or expose you. Time will promote me. I know that because I've got the right message. I've got the message that men need today. I've got a better freaking message than Jordan B. Peterson. I got a better freaking message than like Gary V. I do. I have a better message than probably Grant Cardone. Okay? The message that I have, because I understand the female nature. I understand the female brain. And I can bring peace to them. Finally. These guys don't understand female nature. So I've got a message that people need. And it's my responsibility to prioritize the shallow so that other people can accept my message more easily. Okay? So I recognize that, and I'm just keeping you guys on the tabs that I do realize that I have to change. I have to improve. I got to make things better. However, this is my last point. When shallow is so important, because that sets you up for the exponential growth or decline curve. It's all about priorities. What should you prioritize? What's most important to you in your life? What do you want your future to look like? Who are you learning from? What are you prioritizing? What are you investing your time and money in? Okay? So since I don't prioritize my YouTube channel as much in terms of, the short-term appearance of it, I prioritize my message, doesn't mean that actually means that I have other more important priorities, right? Or else I would have focused on it. So you need to figure out, what are your priorities? What are the things that you desire an exponential growth curve in? What shallow bad things are you going to take out of your life and replace them with shallow good things that is going to exponentially grow your journey? Because if you do that, if you understand the exponential growth curve, man, the exponential growth curve of joy, bliss, happiness, relationships, money, power, confidence, being able to help other people to get that same joy, bliss, happiness, money, power, and all that stuff that you have. Because we're all examples for everyone around us. Realize that you making a decision to change and be an example for the people in your life and to the people that are seeing you on a daily basis, but also all the people that will know about you in the future because you're freaking awesome, right? You're changing their lives. And when you change one life, man, you're changing the life of his women. You're changing the lives of their kids. And if you change the life of their kids, you've changed the life of the next generation. And that next generation is going to create a new generation, and a new generation, and a new generation, until we've reached every single person on planet Earth and we've created heaven on earth. That's what it's all about, guys. And the more you are focused and putting that as your priority to change people's lives, that's why you're taking care of the long term. That's why you're taking care of the short term. The more you do that for the ones that are closest to you, that you love, but also for those that you don't know yet. And also for the masses. The more you do that, the more people will seek to elevate you and give you more power and make sure that everything is okay with you at all times and in all places. That's when you get joy, bliss, and happiness. This is the Men of High Value channel. I'm fired up for you. I'm fired up for this movement. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe and like, of course. And then make sure you subscribe to Girls of High Value as well. That's not the name. It's called 3 Girls in Love. 3 Girls in Love on YouTube. And once you've done that, if you're serious about this movement, make sure you head over to patreon.com/Men of High Value, sign up as a Patreon, and let's get this moving going. See you in the next one.